Hi guys, welcome if you're new, welcome to our little family, and hello again if you're back. I missed you guys, so let me tell you what I'm doing. I'm making a big mess. That's what I'm doing. I'm here with Crimson, and I just I videotaped once and then realized that it was off, so I had to do it again. And I just talked for 25 minutes and said, oh, I put the drills on the wrong letter. Let's take them off. Took them off to realize that they were on the right letter. So now I have to put them back. And I was like, I have to cut all this out. I can't. People are going to think I'm crazy. Well, I am crazy, but no, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. Here's what I'm doing. I'm doing Crimson, and I had such a great intro the first few times because she wasn't inundated with all this stuff on top of her. Oh my goodness, this is how far I've gotten. I figured, let me get a little ahead of the game and I'll pull out the ones that I need. And so I could just flow with my whip and chat, you know? And then I said something like, I'm really testing the gods by putting these out because every time I do this, I make a mistake. And what did I do? I spoke it right into reality. But I didn't make a mistake. I just thought I did. Are you guys seeing this? Am I up too high? I dropped the camera twice. I was balancing on the mat, and let's just take this all off of here. Oh my God. I was like, no, this has got to be started over. This cannot be your whip and chat today. So where are we with Miss Thing here? So her sky area is coming out really nicely. And actually, I should be here, but I had decided that I could not wait to get into this eye area. And so I decided to start here today for the whip and chat. But I just love the watercolor background. I love the vibrant poinsettia. I love this hair. This hair has so much movement and it has a lot of ABs running through it. It's just so pretty, so gorgeous. This is like, it's like spun cotton candy. So pretty. So that's where I'm at. I mean, I really didn't get far other than thinking that I made a mistake that I didn't make. And let me get you guys back down on it. Where am I? Right here. And so this is where we are. So I actually moved them from where they were, and where they were was right. And I was wrong. And now I got to move them all back. So now I don't know what the hell I was talking about. I don't know if I said things already. But I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I was checking my phone every time it went off to see what was going on and checking in with like other creators and seeing what was what. And every time my phone went off, it was just Diamond Art Club again. It was Diamond Art Club again. I was like, oh my God. Like it started, I think, Wednesday with the BOGO. Buy one, get one. And then it was, after that, was it the pre-Black Friday with 30% off? Or was it 20% off? And then Black Friday, it was actually 30% off. I think that's what happened. And then what happened after that was, oh, we're extending Black Friday 25% off. And then I think it then was, have you seen our pre-framed canvases? Which is a dynamite idea because, you know, we all want to frame our stuff and we never really get to it because I know I don't. I'm always saying, oh, you know, when I'm thrift shopping, I'm going to find a really nice frame to put this in. This is kind of special. I don't want just an everyday frame or go to a framer, you know, because sometimes the framing can cost you as much as the canvas. And there's so many of them that we want framed, right? I mean, we want them all framed. But these are also pre-lit, but I saw that there was some kind of on Diamond Art Club, like something about the LED lighting. I hope that there's not a problem. I don't know if I was reading it correctly, but I think that they want to just be about the pre-framing more so than anything else. So that was cool. I filled my card up once, and then when it came time to take my credit card out, I was like, are you crazy? Like, it was I was getting a lot of money off, but I was like, you know, I always said that I would not be a stasher, and there's always going to be a sale, and I'm not getting caught up in this craziness. I'm just not. So I guess I'm like their worst, you know, customer. Like, they don't want, I'm the customer that they don't want to hear from. But I just was like, you have Crimson to do. You have Foxy Lady that's still not done. You have Bud that is for Self-Care Sunday. You have the Winter Fox upstairs. You have Night's Rest that you didn't even start yet. Like, when are you doing? And I have 2 more canvases coming from Dreamer Design, which is Rico the Parrot and Daydreamer the Mermaid, and they're for the summer. And you know, I didn't even start them yet. So, you know, I have to stop. Even though there are these beautiful winter scenes, and you know, I just don't want them to be in my closet, because it's like, oh, well, then you'll save them for next year, and then you'll have something next year that they don't have, and you know, and it's like, yeah, but then there's going to be something next year that I'm going to want. So I'm like, I have to stop this. This is not good. So, God bless you if you did if you got what you wanted, and I hope you design all the canvases that you get and enjoy them. But for me, I put a stop to it. Now let me see, where am I at? I'm going to do letter P. Here is P. I'm not even going near that other tray. I'm going to use this little tray. I don't even know where I got it from. Oh, this came from TUMBLR Club, because this was in Bud's toolkit. I did a lot of cleaning yesterday so that I can get ready for Christmas. That's it. You know, today's November the 30th, and then that's it. I'm missing my washi tape though. That's it, and then we are, you know, off and running with whatever it is that, you know, we're planning for the holiday. I'm still on the fence with how I feel about these skinny placers. I don't know. I am having a hard time with my putty. I'm not really getting these on straight, and it's not, I don't think it's the placer. I think it's me. Because really, you have such a visual here with, you know, placing these drills that you really shouldn't be having a problem, but I seem to be. And again, like I said, sometimes I lean one way, and I have to be really mindful when I'm placing, especially square drills, of where I'm placing, and if I am in the field of the drill line, because sometimes my placing is kind of sideways. I leer off to the side, and I do this with a lot of stuff. I even do this with crochet. Sometimes my stitches are kind of leaning over to the side. I noticed that recently too. So, you know, and so I was, you know, talking about my husband was home. He took a half a day on Tuesday because he took a day off on Wednesday because he had Thursday off for Thanksgiving, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday was his drop weekend. So he wanted to draw it out. So he had a half a day Tuesday. He took off Wednesday. He had Thursday off, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday was his drop weekend, and then he took a Monday off. So he had a full week off. Well, by the time Monday night rolled around and everything that we did, his back was hurting. But it was hurting to the point that he was in the chair and he couldn't move. And I'm like, this is like all the time. Like, you had just been to the chiropractor. What happens is sort of like his hip is slipping out of the socket, It's not, but it kind of is. It's the SI joint, it's the piriformis muscle. And, you know, it's really interesting that when you have someone in the family that you should be listening to, like your wife, who has a good understanding of the human body, because these will pick up. Because she's a yoga teacher and has studied anatomy, and I worked for an orthopedic surgeon for, I don't know how many years. And I'm telling you, in the meantime, before you see the doctor, what to do, how to lay on your back so that you can relax your tailbone and your SI joint. You know, he doesn't want to listen. So he went to the doctor, and the doctor's like, you know, you're married to a very smart woman, and, you know, you're going to go home and do exactly what she said to do, because that's the advice that I would have given you to do. So his back was inflamed. You could have seen like the puffiness, the inflammation from where he was worked on. He felt a lot better, and he was going to go to work the next day. I'm like, you're not going anywhere. You're not going to work. No way. You know, he's parcel delivery, and he has to pick up a lot of packages, and he just won't take the time off. He won't do the disability thing, which he can. You know, he's like, no, I only have 10 more months left on the job. And I'm like, yeah, but I want you to be a whole person when you retire. You know, I don't want you know, a husband that can't do anything because his back is hurting. You know, it's admirable that you know, want to soldier on and go to work, but it's also, you know, you're injured. You know, you're legitimately injured. So, but he went in today, and my schedule was thrown off, you know, which I knew it was going to be thrown off having him home the length of time that I was going to have him home. And it was thrown off even more having him home the extra days. I don't mind having him home. I was hoping that he was going to stay home today too, because his back was still hurting. I've been up since 5. I've been getting things done for like laundry and Christmas and cleaning and stuff like that. And I was really hoping that when I heard him shut the alarm off that he was going to stay home. But no, he went in. He's like, I only have a couple days work this week, so let me, you know, go in. We had gone out Saturday night with friends, and I was happy that they wanted to do an early dinner, because I still had to shoot Self-Care Sunday, and they got here at like 4:30, and dinner was at 5:30, so we had like an hour to catch up. We were just going somewhere in the neighborhood, and you know, I'm not a drinker. My husband really doesn't drink that much anymore, and you know, they didn't want to have dessert in the restaurant. They wanted to come back to my house, because, you know, I'm the cappuccino queen, I'm the espresso queen, and they were like, you know, not going to have coffee here, not when, you know, you make great coffee. So they came back here, and then we had coffee and cake here and some cordials. But I was getting like I'm done at this point. I don't have a lot of I start to peter out, especially when I am entertaining people, and you know, I just start to peter out. I just start to get like, okay, I'm done. I can't do like these all-nighters. And it was like 5 hours later, and I was just like, I still wanted to shoot Self-Care Sunday. But then I thought about it, and I looked at the algorithm. I'm like, nobody, like, I like knowing that at midnight I've dropped my video for the day, but nobody's really looking at my videos at that time. It's more like at noontime you guys are on. So I let it go. But, you know, I don't sleep right. because I'm thinking about, I got to get up in the morning and I have to do this. And John was like, well, go ahead, go downstairs and go do your self-care Sunday. I'll stay up here. I'll be quiet. I'm just going to put a lecture on and listen to a lecture. And even though he wanted to stay upstairs and he had his headphones on, I was like, no, I can't even concentrate knowing that you're in the house. So you have to go. So I threw him out into the cold. He went to go get breakfast. And he texted me. He said, let me know when I can come home, please. I was like, you can come home. I'm done. But that's like when his back started to hurt. But he wasn't saying anything. We still went out for a long walk. We still went down to the Navy Yard and went for our walk. And I was so mentally exhausted. See, this is what I don't like about this. I was so mentally exhausted from the night before, because even though like I'm exhausted with the energy of being out, it takes me some time to recoup the next day. And the next day was, slated to get a video done, and then, editing and get it up, and then, spend time with my husband. And so I was in bed like 6 o'clock. And let me see, so that was Monday I knew he was home. But Monday night he was really acting like something was really, really wrong. So, that all happened, and he got into bed and he said, it's really interesting that I have to go on YouTube to find out what my wife was thinking about. I was like, what? He's like, I watched your self-care Sunday. I'm like, you did? I mean, I know he subscribes to my channel, but I'm like, you did? And he's like, yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I was like, oh, well, thank you. And he's like, how come every time I ask you what you're doing or what you're thinking, you just, you can't explain it to me? I'm like, because I'm busy. I can't stop and explain to you what I'm doing and then take your list of questions that you have. Because he does. He's very inquisitive. He's always questioning. Oh, my God. So he liked it. He liked it. I said, well, great. We'll have to have you on one day and get a male perspective. Not that I don't know that if I have males that listen to this, listen to me, but it would be nice to get like your perspective here. Because we have really philosophical conversations, and that's what attracted us to each other. And he's a great conversationalist, and that's an art within itself. A lot of people really don't understand the art of conversation, and he's a great conversationalist. He's fun to talk to, and I think it would be interesting. Ever since I had him on when I finished Summer with the Masters, I know a lot of my Facebook friends seen it, and they were like, oh, why don't you and John do a podcast? You're so interesting to listen to. And I thought, he's so busy with work, and when he does have a free time, he's busy, with his practice, or he's a voracious reader, so he likes his reading time. Not that he wouldn't do it if I asked him. He would, absolutely. But I don't know. Maybe we'll think of something that we can get a male perspective on, or maybe a he said, she said kind of a thing going. I don't know. We'll see. I was listening to Julia Cameron this morning. Because ever since Self-Care Sunday, and the topic being, not just being a creator, but where you create. I'm interested in where people create. I'm interested in how they create and where their inspiration comes from and what their workstation looks like. And that's always been very interesting to me. And I had the pleasure of seeing Julia Cameron, who is amongst other things, the author of The Artist Way, I had the pleasure of seeing her 3 times when I lived in New York, and she was at the New York Open Center, and she is now living, and it kind of came full circle for her. She is now living in Santa Fe. She's 75 years old. She's written another book, or she's in the process of writing another book, and she just wrote another book. So I was listening to her today say that when she was in her 30s, she was very consumed with being the brilliant writer, her brilliant career. She said it that way. She said, I was just consumed with my brilliant career and staying on top and being the best. And she fueled that with a lot of cocaine and drinking. So that is really what the basis of the Artist Way is. It's a 12-step program for recovering and getting in line with more of a spiritual, divine creation to recover your creative self, right? So getting in touch with the creator, whatever that means to you, a God, whatever that means to you. And she was saying how Billy May, who was Frank Sinatra's handler or like arranger, gave her a book. And I was godsmacked because this is like the first time I ever heard her tell this story about he gave her a book because she had confided in him that, she was scared. She was scared that if she wasn't on cocaine and alcohol and she didn't have that crutch to lean on, that her creativity would evaporate. And he said, there's a book, I'm going to give it to you. And it was Ernest Holmes. And I have been reading Ernest Holmes since the first time I seen Science of Mind in Barnes and Noble. And it's about, kind of like Florence Scovel, Ernest Holmes, it's about, what you speak out, what you think of becomes what you manifest. And last night, I actually had some time to sit down. My husband was like, I have to go to work tomorrow, so I really want to have a nice quiet dinner and let's find something good to watch on TV. So Netflix does these mega drops, kind of like Diamond Art Club. And I was like, oh, Katie Holmes, this looks good, Dare to Dream. And I had no idea it was based on The Secret, which I read years ago. And it was very, very good. I liked the story. So, I've been reading sort of these types of material about, manifesting. And I do believe that even if you're aware of it or not, you will manifest what you put out there. Like I said this morning, I shouldn't put all these containers out because I get confused. And that's exactly what I did. The original video, I said that and I put all the drills down. I was like, oh my God, I put them in the wrong place. And I put them all back and they were in the right place. So I actually fulfilled what I said, even though I didn't make a mistake. And for someone that might be confusing to you, but for me, I've always said I manifest very quickly. I really do. I can say something and boom, it happens. So she was talking about how Billy May gave her this book by Ernest Holmes, and it was written in 1913 or 36. I can't remember, but it was called The Creative Mind. And that began her journey to the artist way. And she's a writer, so she writes. And, her writing time is writing about, she had said that she wrote a script for Jon Voight, and his when it was done, she called his agent, and he went, "It's great, love it." And she's like, "Oh, good." But then she couldn't get Jon Voight on the phone. They weren't getting back to her, and so she said, "I think I need to go out to California and follow up on this." And she did that. And while she was in California, she's like, "I was very nervous, and I was praying, God, like, what do I do? What do I say to Jon Voight? What do I do? I don't know what to do." And she's like, "I heard this voice say, go to New Mexico." And she was like, "Go to New Mexico?" And she's like, "I went to New Mexico with my 6-year-old daughter who hated it. I moved from New York to New Mexico, like when there was nothing there, and like before like Ralph Lauren got a hold of it, and she's like, well, now I'm here. What do I do? And it was like, right. That's the voice that she heard. And she, started to write, and she started to have these breakthroughs where she found herself in the morning just writing, as we do, the stream of consciousness writing, but talking to a higher self, talking to the divine, the creator. And she started to get like very clear about what it was that she had to do. And she got back in her car and she moved back to the village. And I believe that that's where it sounds kind of like, from her recollection of the story. Now she's 75, and I could see as I was watching this, it's actually on YouTube, that she was kind of like, I don't know if it was intentional. It may have been intentional, where she would just stop talking and like kind of drift off. And I think that she was trying to gather the right words more so than it being anything cognitive. But she's still amazing. Still amazing to listen to. And she heard this voice to go back to the village, and she went back to the village, and she was like, well, I'm here now. What am I supposed to do? And in her writing, she heard, you were going to teach. And she, as soon as she heard that, she was like, F you, I'm not teaching. I'm a writer. And she called her girlfriend Julie up, and she said, Julie, I just, I'm doing my writing and all, and I heard, I'm asking spirit, what am I supposed to do? I needed to come through in my writing. And it keeps saying to me, teach. And she said, okay, hold on a minute. And she called her back in 10 minutes. She said, congratulations, you're on the faculty of the women's feminine writing group, and you got a class next week. You decide what the hell you're going to teach. And she was like, what? And she had all these creatives in her class, like directors and actresses and painters and housewives, and she started to talk about her own process of getting up in the morning and writing, and then going out on a meditation walk, where you go out and you walk and write, and then go out and walk and listen. And she's like, these people started to have breakthroughs where the director started directing, he became unblocked, the painter started to paint. One of the women in her class was 75 years old and decided to go to school to get her credentials to be a poet. And now at 88, she's still publishing books. It was really an interesting talk. And her boyfriend at the time, she doesn't say who it is, it may have been James Cameron, because I know she married him, said, you need to get to work. This is a book. You need to get these tools down. You have a toolkit here of helping people get unblocked, and you need to write this down, and you need to get it out to the masses, because you're really helping people. And that's what she did. She just had a friend that she relied on and trusted, and she's like, we locked ourselves behind the door, and we didn't stop until The Artist's Way was written. And the rest is history, that's for sure. And I know her new book is called Writing for Life, which, you know, I'll have my hands on it, my hot little hands on it as soon as it comes out. And she's just one of the most fascinating people that I've ever had the pleasure of listening to, or, you know, meeting in person or reading. She doesn't talk too much about her addiction. She did say that that's why she left New Mexico. She's like, New Mexico at that time was just like a lot of people that had a lot of substance problems, and she was like, I can't stay here. If I do, I'm going to relapse. So that's why she went back to the village. And but she did return. She did return to Santa Fe, which is interesting. She did go back, because I don't think anybody ever leaves New York. When you're like a true New Yorker like she is, I can't imagine that she left for Santa Fe, but she did. And it was interesting that I found that lecture this morning, you know, while I was, you know, busy getting my stuff done in the house and getting ready for Christmas. And, you know, after what I watched yesterday about The Secret and, you know, the mindset and what you believe and what you tell yourself constantly and consistently really does come into, I think I talked about this on Self-Care Sunday, where I found my old TUMBLR, and you know, TUMBLR is like a big vision board in a way, and I had so many things on there that were important enough to me to curate in a way on my TUMBLR that it told a story just through pictures. And I'm like, all this has come into fruition, all of it, you know. Everything that I wanted my life to be, that I vlogged on there, and I wasn't even paying attention, but there's something to the energy of your thought and your spoken word that it manifests. And you know, we really need to be, I think, more careful about what we're saying to ourselves, and changing the narrative and changing the story that we're telling ourselves. And I think I had Dr. Dispenza on this week, and he was on Diary of a CEO, and he was, you know, Stephen, who is the CEO, was saying, like, out of all the discoveries that you made, like which one has really impressed you, like which one is imprinted on your mind as being the most impressive, I guess is what he was trying to say. And he was like, oh my God, like, people are more powerful than they know. And that he has seen so many things, and he has seen people take charge of their life and take charge of their health and you know, turn themselves around, because, you know, they begin to heal with their thinking. And that was a really interesting interview this week too. And I think, you know, his staff was saying, ask Dr. Joe how, you know, what he does, you know, during his day, how does he start his day? Because I may have brought this up on Self-Care Sunday, that me and my girlfriend Denise went to go see What the Bleep Do We Know? And it was about quantum physics, and there were all these scientists on and spiritual advisors. But when Dr. Joe came on and he talked about creating your day, how it's possible to create the day and create the world that you want to live in. And that was really what took off in the movie. It was Dr. Joe Dispenza speaking about creating your day. And Dr. Joe was, you know, talking to Stephen about, you know, all the things that he has seen that have been documented through imaging and MRIs and PET scans, and, you know, how the, you know, the brain and the chemistry, you know, all change. And So his staff was like, well, what does Dr. Joe do during the day? Like, how does he start his day? And he was saying like how he prepared for the day, how he prepared for the interview, what he wants for his day, what his highest aspirations are. And Stephen, the CEO, was really impressed. And he's like, I've met so many people that come onto the show, and I'm still struggling. And like, for example, when I travel, he's like, I'm a slob. Like, he's like, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. You know, that I am all over the place. I'm all over the hotel room, and you know, a mess, and it bothers me, which it would bother me too. I don't like having too much stimulus around me. It distracts me. And he's like, and the one thing that I hate about myself, because Dr. Joe was saying, like, if you want to change something, rehearse it. Like, if you have someone that pushes your buttons, like, you know, rehearse how you're going to react, how you're going to respond, what you're going to say or not say, how you want to be. You know, my best defense is always to just walk away and just, you know, leave people to whatever kind of nonsense they're living within their brain, you know, and their body, and not respond to it, not create anything bigger. But he was like, you know, how can I fix this? That, you know, I literally sabotage myself. You know, I eat right, I'm fit, I work out, I exercise, I take vitamins, I eat a ton of protein. He's like, and then at the end of the day, you know, late at night, I'm ordering stuff up to the room, and it's all junk food and sweets. And as soon as I put it in my mouth, I have this complete sense of guilt. You know, how could I rehearse this out? And Dr. Joe, like, when he said he had this, you know, immediate guilt, Dr. Joe said, maybe it's not the sugar that you're addicted to, maybe it's the guilt. And I stopped what I was doing, and I was like, I have to rewind that back. And I listened to Stephen again say how he's addicted to sugar and he can't kick it, and every time he has it, he has this extreme guilt. And Dr. Joe just saying, maybe it's not the sugar you're addicted to, maybe it's the guilt. But this time I was watching it. Before I was just listening, and I saw the look on Stephen's face, and he looked like he was God-smacked. And, you know, Dr. Joe just kept talking, and then they were going into other things. And like 20 minutes later, Stephen came back to that, you know, that whole guilt thing that you were talking about, you know, like, it really, I think it not just resonated with him, it resonated with me too. Like, maybe if what you're doing, you can't stop, and the reason why you think you're doing it isn't really about that reason, but about something else. Oh gosh, it was such a good interview. Love that show. So, you know, maybe, you know, I think too that when I went to see What the Bleep, I think too that, you know, being so moved by Dr. Joe and what it was that he was saying in the movie, and you can look it up. I think I posted it in my in Self-Care Sunday this week, the article that was written, because I think that that's the truest article out there about the movie. And that's why I put that there, and I didn't put a video, but you can actually probably find the clip from the video of Dr. Joe talking about it. I think that that's probably because it stuck with me from the moment that I heard it. Is pretty much where I get this tagline that I have. And it's not just a tagline, I've said this before. It's not just a tagline, it is a way of life for me to create the world that I want to live in, not just as, you know, a creator here on eBay, on YouTube, but they're not the same. But in my life, in my home, in my business, that this is what this is what I do. And this is why, I mean, John and I were having this talk yesterday about when I owned Pedal Bell, when I owned the cafe, and, how did I feel about having a partner? And somebody gave me very good advice. It was actually my accountant that said, partners are only good in odd numbers, and anything more than one is too many. Partners are only good in odd numbers, and anything more than one is too many. The best advice I've ever gotten, because the vision that I had for Pedal Bell became lost. And it really was not anything that I envisioned it to be. And that was because I had a partner, and I had a partner who had a lot of fear in what my vision was. But it was my turn at bat. It was my turn to, chase the dream that I wanted. And I think that there was fear, not just of this isn't going to work, but also fear that this is going to work. She is going to be successful, because I was successful on my own, going out on my own, and teaching in New York City. I was successful there, creating art classes and getting paid some nice dough to do it. So I think that that's where, getting back to Dr. Joe, that's where my, I think when I heard that I could create my day, and I could create the world that I want, and I could leave the narrative behind, whether it's my own or someone else's, that my life began to change. Because I didn't like the world that I had created for myself just a few years back. And it was literally killing me. And I had to get out of it. A lot of people didn't agree with me, and it's only my head on the pillow at night. So that's all I got to say about that, But I had to change my life, and it's a scary thing. I think one of the scariest things that we do as humans is invoke change, or have change just happen. It's very scary. Not that people get settled in their life, because sometimes the change isn't even yours. It's someone else's, but it does affect you in some way. And is that a black one? And change is scary all the way around. I know that my getting divorced scared a lot of people. I don't know why. I'm a grown woman, but it did. They thought I was making a mistake, and I didn't. So, not only, am I interested in creating the world that I want to live in, but I'm always interested in how people create and the world that they create in. And over the Thanksgiving weekend, was watching a few new YouTube channels of diamond painters, because I don't know about you guys, I get kind of overwhelmed with like unboxings and small shop hauls. I get kind of overwhelmed with that, because I think, I know that a lot of these creators are affiliates, but I think to myself, oh my gosh, so much stuff, so many canvases and so many unboxings, and how many do you actually do, and what do you do with the ones that you don't do? I have this vision in my mind of some of these creators being buried under all these unboxings that they have. Where do you put them? Where do they go? Because I'm kind of freaking out in my own home with the stuff that I have around, and it's not, it's not much, but I could really spread out. I could really, be a collector, and we are collectors. You know, art supplies are art. It's just, they shouldn't even call it art supplies. They should call it art collecting, creative collecting, or something like that. So I was getting kind of overwhelmed with unboxings, even though it's nice to see, you know, new products and stuff. And I don't know, it takes another turn for me. I don't know, how do you guys feel? And even small shop hauls, like I look at people that, you know, maybe have a small shop haul once a week, once a month, and I'm think, oh my gosh, like, that's great and all that we get to see this stuff and you get to try it and you give us feedback and stuff, but I get overwhelmed. But then again, I was watching someone, it's called Painting with Laura, or Paintings with Laura. I don't know if there's an S. I don't know if it's, and she just came on, maybe she was in the rotation and Up Next. And she was doing a painting that wouldn't, you know, it's not my style, but I was looking at her dissect her canvas with the washi tape, and I thought, and she was saying like how quick she diamond paints, and she was taking like really big sections, like this is a 10 by 10, 10 by 10. Hers were like almost 20, maybe 20 by 20. They looked bigger than that though, and I was like, wow, that's a big space. Like you're kind of like working all these 4 blocks at once, right? 20 by 20, yeah, I guess that's right. Girl math. Anyway, I was like, wow, that's a big space. And what was fascinating about, again, I love to see where people create, how they create, what their process is. And I wasn't overwhelmed at all. I was just fascinated by, she had her canvas and she's like, let's go pick some washi tape. And she goes into our art room and she grabs, you know, these trays and trays of washi tape. And that would have overwhelmed me. I can't do with choices. It's not that you have a lot, God bless you. It's that I get very confused, and I was like, oh no, get that one, because it was a log cabin that she was doing with a golden retriever. And she of course picked something else, and because there was like one that was ivy and one that was just like wood grain that I thought would look so nice with the log cabin. But she picked this, was it an emerald green? I think it was an emerald green. I can't remember what the pattern was. And then she was like, okay, I need to go get my pen. And she had cases of pen cases. And I think in each case was like a different, they were by like, maybe one case was Enabler's Outpost, one case was Leopard Leather Works, one case was, I don't even know any other pen companies. Shame on me, but I have one pen and it still has the neck stuck in there. As you guys know, my Leopard Leather Work pen, again, I did it again. I tried to fill the putty in there by pressing it down, and I broke the neck in there. And the 9 days that my husband was home said that he was going to take it out. He didn't do it. He said, oh, I forgot how I did it. Are you serious? You did it with a drill. Anyway, look how much wax is in there. Can you see that? Look at the line of wax that's in there. Oh my God. Can this come out? Oh, that'll drive me nuts now until I get that out of there. Where does it go? It goes in that little hole. It's like a snake. Can you guys see that snake in there? So she had her pens out, and she had, beautiful wood ones, and like every color, and they were just stunningly beautiful. And she picked this one that was like this emerald green and blue. It just looked like the sky and the earth. And it went with very nicely with the washi tape. And then she was like, okay, let's go get a tray. And she had these baskets and baskets of all different trays from all different companies and all different shapes and all different sizes and all different colors. And she picked that out. And then she was like, okay, now I need a cover minder. And so you go into her art studio and there's her wall and there's all her cover minders. And it was really exciting. It was just the way that she curated this kitting up. And then when everything was out, and then she had to go get her putty, which she picked a pine, and she had to get her wax, which she picked a pine. And then what she does is, like, if she used leopard leather works in her last kit, she won't use them again. She'll put them away and she'll get another company to use their pen or their tray or whatever. And then when she was done, everything was curated so beautifully. It was fascinating. I watched one episode after another just to see how she was going to kit up and curate her canvas. And she's quick. She wasn't kidding when she said she's a fast diamond painter. She was amazing. So I was so happy to find her. Hi, Laura. I'm going to send a shout out to you. And like I said, any other time, like, all that stuff would have just made me nutso. But I think because this is something that she loves so much. Like, each pen was like a piece of baccarat crystal, or, everything was just organized beautifully, which I really appreciate. So that didn't make my mind go wonky. I would highly suggest that you check her out, even just to check out one of her ways that she kits up a kit. It was so interesting. Again, like, that's where my mind is when I am watching people and watch how they create and what their process is. I am so fascinated that if Where Women Create, which is a magazine, was not already written, I would have written it. I would have written it because I'm so fascinated. I just love it. I just love looking at where the magic happens. So let me put the tray right here. Here's my little matchy. That's as far as I'm getting, but I love it. I just thought it was wonderful. And then I watched Diamond Painting with the Besties, and her name's in front of me. I want to say Miranda, but I know that that's not it. That's the lady's name from the movie that I watched last night. It doesn't take much to confuse me. But she had now they look like they're almost like on an like a hard acetate, and it was a cutout Christmas tree with a stand, and she had these really cute, very small diamond paintings. I was like, I would have did all those diamond paintings, the tree, the snowman. I would have did them all, and they would have been part of my Christmas decoration because they were so beautiful and sparkly, and they had not just diamond drills, they had crystals, like different shapes and stuff. Very, very pretty for your holiday. I'm trying to make sure I'm in the right spot in your holiday decor, because I got lilac. Now this morning I was playing with her and I'm like, I think I'm going to cut your ends off. I thought I was going to paint them or washi tape them. Then I had this other idea that was going through my head, but I can't seem to get to a Michael's. All the time off that my husband had. He's like, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? And I'm like, IKEA. I'm always with the organization. I'm a typical Virgo. We love organizing stuff. And then I have to get him organized because we had the front of our house done. But, when he retires, we are getting, I can't believe I'm even going to say it out loud, more demolition in here. And he'll be home. Like, I was home with the contractors the first time around, and I was like, I will never, ever, ever be alone with contractors again, ever. I felt like I was babysitting the whole time. Grown men, grown men. I have to tell you to pick French fries up off the floor. Where are you? Where's your wife? Give me your phone. I want to talk to your wife. I'm not kidding you. I was like a lunatic. Plus, I was getting married. Oh my God. And he's like, no, I won't do that to you again. I will be there. And he is like, oh, forget it. I can't even think of a character that you might know that my husband is like, because he will be like, oh, he's a Scotch. They might not come back. So yeah, I'm constantly like getting little bits and pieces of our upstairs, because that's what's going to happen first, organized so that we could it not be so much like, oh, it's time to break down this wall. He wants to take down the walls. I'm not for it, because his back room is a studio, and it's 2 bedrooms that were made into 1 big studio. And I feel like, you know, what do I care? I'm going to be dead, but, you know, what do I care who buys the house, you know, when I'm gone? But I just think that, you know, I don't know, maybe it'll be another couple just like us that buys the house, with 2 big rooms. 2 big rooms. And I really, honestly, before I even did the bedroom, I would love just to rip the whole bathroom out. Love it. Rip the bathroom out. Because I think if we're going to take that middle room, that's our bedroom on one side and the bathroom on the other, we just can't take down that wall. Oh, I can't. It doesn't go right into the bathroom, that wall. It's kind of like, we have one of those walls that turn big. So yeah, I can't. So that's out. I was going to say, you know, part of it is part of that space that we create needs to go towards the bathroom, but that ain't going to happen. And I don't know. Probably by the time all this work is done, I'll need a stair lift to get up and down the steps, because my knee is killing me. My knee. I went and made the mistake of getting a cortisone shot. I will never, ever, 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 ever do it again. And I know better. I worked for an orthopedic surgeon. I know better. And I said to the new guy, Young, I said to him, you know, I worked for an orthopedic surgeon, and my doctor, who was more like my dad, always said not to do cortisone because it breaks down the nerves, to do lidocaine and procaine. And I had him talk me out of it. Don't let anybody talk you out of anything. I was coming down the steps, and I felt like a car that for months has been running on a full tank. Right? I felt like Kramer when he kept driving that car, even though there was no gas in it. It said there was no gas in it. And then all of a sudden, when that last drop was done, that's when my knee went. My knee was like, oh yeah, you've been having fun all these months? Well, guess what? The tank is empty. And I had such pain that I just was like, never again. Never again. I'm glad I didn't do the physical therapy, because I think, you know, and that's what was in the back of my head. Like, yeah, I can go do physical therapy now, but I really don't know if I have pain and I'm going to be moving this knee. And I wanted you guys to see this. I'm going to be moving this knee, and I might get hurt and I won't feel it. That's what I think is going to happen. I'm waiting to see if he does it. My cat thinks that when I'm up here and I'm working, that he can jump, he can come over here and tap me, because I made the mistake of putting treats on the side of my desk. Now, he's really smart, so he probably knows right now he's being filmed, like he's got a contract that's not being fulfilled, so he's not going to perform. But he sits here and he taps me on the shoulder like, let's go, I need a treat, where are they? Or he'll just come up here and he'll do this on the side. And he just did it like right now, but he's smart. He knows I'm filming, and he knows the camera is pointed towards him. Hi, Daddy, what are you doing? He knows the camera's pointed towards him, so now he won't do it. He's a sneak. He's sneaky. He's smart. Maybe if I just be quiet. I'll tell you, I don't know how that girl Laura diamond paints as fast as she does, because I only have a little 10 by 10 square, and this to me is confetti, which, like, if she looked at it, she'd probably laugh and be like, that's not confetti. So, you know, I'm really interested what you got at Diamond Art Club, if you did. I'm really interested. about your creative spaces where you create. I know some people that'll say, oh, I'll just take my diamond painting and go in bed. I'm like, how do you diamond paint in bed? I would have everything all over the place. But they do it. What are you doing on my chair? Stop it. He's pulling at my chair. He's so... Why are you pulling at my chair? Here we go. Here comes the tapping. Nope, no treats there. No treats there. What? And he talks. And he does the cutest thing. I let him near the kitchen window in the morning, and he talks to the birds. He talks to them. He cries because his previous owners had a parakeet, and they would let the parakeet out and they would play. And you know, I think it is heartbreaking. One day I'm going to do a clip and I'm going to put it in one of my videos, like a little 10-second clip of him crying and talking to the birds. It's oh my God, he's so sweet. He's such a gentle little boy, and he wants his treats right now. He's like, come on, lady. Oh, it's over an hour. Are you my little alarm clock? Are you my little alarm clock? You've been talking for an hour. That's why I want my... Look at what he's doing. Stop it. That's why I want my treat. Well, guys, from me and the foof, we're going to say goodbye because it's over an hour. I'm like, on. And really, I've been talking for 2 because I did 2 videos already that, you know, I don't know. I guess I had too much time off with my husband. I'm going to blame him. I will see you, what's today, Thursday? I'll see you tomorrow. Because I don't know what's going to happen and the rest of the week. So, the rest of the week. Tomorrow's Friday. Create the world you want to live in, and tell me how you're doing it. I'm so interested in how you're doing it. I will talk to you tomorrow. I'm gonna finish a little crimson here. I didn't get far. I thought I was doing so good. Oh, but look, a little bit of her eye is starting to... Oh gosh, it looks a little scary there. So when I get done, I'll take a little snapshot and I'll put it at the end of the video. Bye guys. Love you.